I'll share very quickly with you. Some things that I'm feeling. One is that the listeners are good. You guys are good. Listen. For the past 3 nights, I've stood for a very long time, so I'm gonna have some grace on the vocalists, but you can sit if you'd like to, but I just strongly feel that one of the things that the Lord is doing in this season is shifting the focus back to Jesus. And I'm hosting a conference next month, and it's all about that. The theme this year is the uprising, but specifically focusing on the remnant. I feel like the Lord's always had a remnant. You have the masses and then you have the remnant. And I think for a lot of time we've been focusing on the masses, what this person's doing, what that person's doing, what this church is doing, that church is doing, but what's happening in the world, what's happening in politics, what's happening. But I've just been trying to lean into what the Lord's doing in those who are hidden. And I just started thinking about this when I invited some friends to come and be with us for the conference. And the heart behind it was because I hadn't really seen much from them or heard much from them, like publicly. And I thought about that, and I just had this question while I was sitting in my office one day, and I said, I haven't heard or seen much from them lately. I wonder why. Because everybody's looking at YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and every other drug. But I was interested in hearing what was on the hearts of the hidden ones. And those who weren't fighting for attention, those who weren't seeking applause and lights and focus and all that kind of stuff, spotlight. And so I've just been trying to, in this season, as much as I can, lean into what God's doing in the hidden ones, because I feel like that's what's about to come to the forefront. And a lot of what's in the forefront will not be forefront anymore. And so I just have made this my posture. Lord, let me be part of what you're doing in the earth. Not let me be part of what's happening in the earth, but let me be part of what you're doing in the earth. So, because there's a difference. There's a vast difference, and that's just been my heart. And do I get it right all the time? I don't think anyone does, but my posture is, Lord, I just so desperately want you to have me. And more than I want you to use me, I do want the Lord to use me, but you do know he'll use anyone. He'll use anything. I want him to have me. And did we not do all these things in your name? So my greatest desire in life is not that the Lord uses me. I do want him to use me, and that is a great desire. But my greatest desire is that he would have me, that he would know me, search me and know me. And if there's anything there that's not like you, that doesn't please you, that doesn't bring you glory, that doesn't attract you to me, remove it. And I feel like that's what he's doing in the hidden ones. And I don't know about you, but I want to be part of that remnant. I don't want to do what everybody's doing. I'm kind of over it, actually. And this doesn't just go for you. It doesn't just go for those who are, on stages. I'm talking about the Church of Jesus Christ. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and it honestly makes me dizzy sometimes. And I found myself in a season wanting some things that I thought they were good things. And then the Lord asked me, I thought they were good until he asked me a question, which, by the way, if the Lord asks you a question, it's not for him. The all-knowing God does not need your answer. Okay. He's not really questioning anything. So if the Lord asks you a question, just trust that it's for you to ask yourself. Adam and Eve, where are you? Okay, so I thought those things were good that I wanted until the Lord asked me why I wanted them. And then when the Lord asks you a question, it immediately just pierces you, right? Anytime the Lord speaks, it's so loaded. So if he says, if he says to me, bread, to me, it can mean one thing. To you, it can mean something else. But when the Lord speaks what it means. Hopefully that made sense. I was trying to think of an analogy, and bread is the first thing, because I do love food, and everybody knows that. But so the things that I thought were good, the Lord asked me why I wanted them. And as soon as he asked, he revealed the answer. He's like, my kids, when they were much younger, I would ask them questions about something I knew they had done or something they were dealing with. And I would ask them a question, and they would, beat around the bush. And so I had this thing I would always say until they were able to repeat it after me. And I said, okay, so if Dad's asking you this question, that means what? And they go, you already know the answer. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. So when you just spit it out, I'm just trying to give you an opportunity to search yourself and bring it to the surface so that we can deal with it. But when he asked me why I wanted those things, my response was, because I saw someone else doing it. And I realized something. But we are to get all of our marching orders from heaven, not from earth, not from people, not from their journey, not from what they're doing, not from what they're called to. Lord, what do you see from me? And what would you like me to do? What pleases you? What can I do to just give you more of who I am? And so I'm over doing what everybody's doing. And so I started taking this posture because I feel like, honestly, I feel like the Lord's given me a burden to just pray for those. Sometimes we see people miss it and we just say they missed it. But we don't realize that we missed it. We missed an opportunity to intercede and pray for them. And so, I won't go much into that, but I always tell people, if the Lord's given you a burden, if it's a godly burden, because your flesh, I think, can be burdened too, where you're just angry and mad at everything. And then I feel like a godly burden, if it's a godly burden, it always drives you to your knees. And so if there be something that doesn't please the Father, it should move you just like it moved him. Jesus wept. It's time for us to weep. And that we see the burden and experience the burden of the Lord and pray and intercede for each other. So now when I see people doing a lot of stuff, I don't say, man, why don't they sit down somewhere? I say, Lord, please have them. Lord, please cover them. Please protect them. Lord, please let them have an encounter with you as they're in their hotel room. Rush in that room and reveal to them who you are. And I think we can pray for each other more. And so Anyway, I feel like one of the things, like I said earlier, the Lord is doing is just bringing our attention back to Jesus. He wants to be the center of attention. And I'm cool with him being the center of attention. I'm telling you, if you want to be the center of attention, you can have it. You can have it. I don't want it. We were not built for that. And so I remember I was in Charlotte a few weeks ago, and when I was walking down the road, I said, Lord, whatever it is I have to fight to be close to you and for you to know me, I promise I will just, with your help, because he was like, you can't do that. I said, with your help, I can. Yes, you can. And I said, Lord, with your help, I'll fight whatever it is so that I can be close to you, and I will just continue to fight. You're worth it. You're worth it. And so when we sing things like, worthy is your name, it has to be true to us, that we understand that he is so worthy of the highest praise, and he's worthy of his reward. The reward of his suffering is that we would come to him. You know that he did all of that for us? So how would it feel to you if you paid the ultimate price, not just a price, but the ultimate price for something and you couldn't have it? So just think about that for a moment. If the Lord can't have all of you, which is what he paid for in blood, so you can bring him your song and your dance. You can bring him your gift, your talent. You can bring him your ushering, your serving. You can bring him all of that and still not give him what he's asking for. And I just don't want to be guilty of that. Have I been? Oh yeah, at times. But I don't want to be guilty of not giving him the thing that he asked for. I love singing to the Lord. I love, I'm not the best dancer, but I'll jump around, you know what I mean? I'm overweight and all that kind of stuff, but you know what? That's okay. I just got more to give him. I'm like, why do you eat so much? Because I'm working on my offering. But so when I look at somebody skinny, I go, man, that's what you're bringing? I'm kidding. Hey, that was the first time I've said that. It just literally just came out. That's good right there. That's good. Man, that was so good. I'm going to remember that. Can you write that down for me and send it to me? I'm just working on my offering. And, but I don't want to be guilty of giving him everything except what he asked for. And so, I just don't. And I know you don't either. That's why you're here. That's why you paid for registration to be at a conference today when you could be out on the beach somewhere. I believe there are hungry people here, and you're hungry for one thing. The only thing that can actually satisfy you and leave you wanting more. That's Jesus. So I think I'm going to share one or two scriptures, and you can keep that going because I'm a worship leader, and I'm not the most comfortable doing this here, but I've also been telling the Lord, that's another thing. I would always say no when someone asked me to speak, because I can lead worship all day, but speaking terrifies me. And I said no so long, and then the Lord said, when are you going to stop telling me what I can and can't do through you? And I said, but I'm not the most, yep. So I said, whatever you want from me, right? So I love singing, but what if he's not asking for a song in the moment? Will you give him what he wants? Are you willing to just give him whatever he wants? Put my personality assessment to the side and you know what I mean? Nothing against, well, a little bit against him, but nothing, and I'm just kidding. I have some people in my camp that love those personality assessments, and I fought it for so long. I said, I don't care. But, and then I took one and I found out, I was like, all these 6s and 7s, I've been a 10 my whole life. But they're just rolling today. Have you ever heard of such a thing as prophetic humor? Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad I said that before the prophet gets here, because I'm sure he would call me out on that. But if I'm not the best dancer. I actually, aside from in worship, I don't like dancing. And I hear people talk about their preferences all the time, what songs they like to sing. And I sing songs all the time that I'm not a fan of. Because when I want to worship the Lord, my personal preference goes out the window. I actually don't like dancing. But when I am in worship, I find myself dancing because I want to exhaust. So it's just a matter of what can I give you? So who cares if I don't like the song? It wasn't written for me. Lord, what do you want? And I think he's waiting for a bride that will just give him what he wants. And so Colossians 3, okay, here comes my fear of public speaking. But if Colossians chapter 3, verse 1 says, if then you were raised with Christ, speak those things which are above, where Christ is, sitting at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above. I want to get my mind above all this stuff here. A friend of mine, Eric Gilmore, he says, the lower you go, the more there is. But the higher you go, the more you're his. And I just want to live that kind of life where I'm not so consumed with what's happening here. Everybody can see this. You know what I mean? But those who are in tune with the Spirit of God can see what's happening behind what's happening. You know, behold, I will do a new thing. Even now it springs forth. Will you not perceive it? I think we talked about that a while back. Perception can not necessarily speak to what you're looking at, but how you're looking at it. And I don't want to miss God because I'm looking at you. I'd much rather see him. You guys look great. But I want to see Jesus. Not just so that he can give me something, but because he is everything that I could ever need. And so that's what I feel like is happening. And we have an opportunity to be part of that. Shifting our focus, shifting our attention back to him, and not being so easily distracted. I think the church has ADD sometimes. And it's not going to lead to anything good. And so That's been my posture. And I don't think the Lord's necessarily looking for our perfection, but he's looking at our posture. If we will be willing to bow, if we'll be willing to set everything aside again and simply look at him. What else is there to see? You know that old expression, nothing to see here, folks. Keep it moving. There's nothing to see here. There is nothing to see here. But let's set our eyes on Jesus, and you'll see everything you need to see. And the other thing I wanted to say was how we, as believers, we're called to live sacrificially. And I think everybody loves the word sacrifice. Not many love the work of sacrifice. Climbing back on the altar. Romans 12 puts us in our place. Jesus is on the throne and we're on the altar. And I think it's time for us to live sacrificially again. I don't get to always be offended by everything. I mean, we're so easily offended now. But when is the last time you were able to offend a dead man? And the world gets such a reaction from us instead of a response. And I remember in 2020, I was talking to one of my best friends about how angry I was and all this. And I had some unhealthy anger, and then I had, I think, some good anger, but I had it all. I think I'm not the only one, but I was talking to him about it, and I said, man, why is there so much of this stuff going on? And we have all these causes, and everybody's jumping to support this cause and that cause, and even church leaders and believers supporting every cause that arises. And I think it was out of a desire really to heal people, but we started latching on to everything. And he said something to me that stuck with me. He said, it's because there aren't many men and women of God leading the causes. And so we were reacting instead of responding. And we latched onto this and to that and didn't really see anything except more of the confusion stirred up. And God's like, I've had a solution for you this whole time, but you've had your eyes on this. Do you know you can't even love the world properly until you have seen the risen Lamb, until you know him? You can't love. You think you can love the world more than Jesus, who gave his life for the world? And so I just decided I want my marching orders to come from heaven. I have nothing to say to you of significance until I've heard from the Lord. And so I just want to encourage you. Behold the Lamb. Just behold him. Well, how do I be a good husband? Behold the Lamb. How do I be a good wife? Behold the Lamb. How do I be a good leader? Behold the Lamb. How do I love the lost? Behold the Lamb. How do I bring hope and healing to my children? Behold the Lamb. And he'll give you everything that you need. Literally everything. Everything. You don't need a TED Talk. Listen to what God is saying. And, I was in the car with one of my sons talking about something that he was facing, and it's a pretty intense thing. And my wife and I, my whole family, were loving him through it. And I said to him, he was wondering how I feel. I said, son, I need you to know that I love you very, very much, but Jesus loves you more. And I trust him completely with you. I don't know what to say to fix this. I don't know what to say to heal it. But I do know that if I can just get you to the Lamb, if I can just get you to Jesus, if I can just get myself there, then he'll give me what to say, divine appointment, divine direction, divine conversation. I'll be saying something to you, and then I don't even know how I said it. but it brought healing, it brought hope, it brought change, it brought deliverance. I have nothing to say to you until I've heard from the Lord. And so, behold the Lamb, look at him. See what he sees. He wants to show his church some things. He wants to show us some things. And we'll hear his voice more clearly. And I believe we'll see the revival that we've been asking for. Not just another meeting, though. I've been to so many revivals, I can't even count. I'm like, my Lord, these people are deader than a doornail if you got to have this much revival. But real revival that literally transforms us and then transforms regions. I believe that's what we'll see. In Jesus' name.
This world and give me, say, oh, I want
world and give me, one last time. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. Take this world and give me. I've made my choice, made my decision. I've made my choice, made my decision. I'll take the King over everything, over everything, over everything, over everything, over everything, over everything. Yeah, I'll take the King over everything, 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 over everything. Take this world and give me. Take this world and give me. Or you can take this world